This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Hey, Corey, it's Tom from AA. Just thought I'd give you a call, man, see how it's going. Give me a call back later on if you want. Talk to you later, bud. Bye-bye.
19th of November. The year is 2020 still. It's the 217 Recovery Podcast, and my name is Corey Winfield. And some say I have a rich person's name. Marnie Liston's joining me as the co-host tonight. Marnie, you're the special guest tonight. Hey, what's going on?
See, when you're gone for a little bit, when you come back, it's more special.
Yeah. It's most special.
Most special.
Yeah, so congratulations. I've been having a lot of guests on, and I mean, that's cool, but I'm glad to have you back.
Thanks. Yeah, you had some good podcasts. Good people saying some good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'm sure people who listen to the podcast love it too.
Yeah, mix it up a little bit.
If for some reason this is your first podcast, this is going to be the best podcast you've ever heard in your life. So you got to keep it, you got to trick them a little. No, I mean, this is what we do. We talk about recovery. Marnie and I are both in recovery. And this is kind of what we do. We talk about our recovery, the kind of day we had. Some of the stuff will hit us and we'll spit it out. Some days it's good. Some days it's bad. Some days I like to joke around. I like to have fun in recovery. So, that's what we do. We're not doctors, therapists. And I told Marnie a couple weeks ago, I was like, because we were listening to this podcast together and it was really bad. And they had this horrible disclaimer where the lady's like, okay, what? It was like recorded, and it was just like, we are not doctors and clinical professionals. We are It was just,
It was really long, too.
Yeah. It was like
telling us all the things that they're not.
Yeah. It's like, get it, bro or lady. But you should do a disclaimer in your ta-da, whatever voice. You heard this. Is it a radio commercial?
It's a radio commercial.
And you heard it and you thought it was the funniest thing.
No, it was taking, it was just a little thing that I thought was funny. I found humor in it and I thought it was great. It's a progressive commercial and it sounds like a Valley Girls just talking, and they're talking about ta-da. They're saying like, ta-da is Tuesday. And then the whole thing is them using it's funny.
But you do it better. You do it better than
I know.
You just did it.
I know, but I don't know.
It's hard to do a podcast when you just wake up.
Yeah, I know.
No,
I was taking a nap.
Yeah, that's tough.
If you Google progressive ta-da, TADAH, it will pop up. You can watch it on YouTube. Listen to it on YouTube.
There you go. Ta-da.
Yeah.
Do that, ta-da.
No, you'll get it. You don't get it. You have to look
it.
it up. Look it up.
Anyway, you should do that.
It's like annoyingly funny. Let's just say that.
Yeah, let's just say that. So, but if it's annoyingly funny, you should do a disclaimer for this podcast.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll write it for you.
Okay.
Like I did Chris Goss's goodbye letter to white ding-dongs.
So we are so not doctors.
Unless, we play one in the bedroom.
Right.
Ta-da. I know. Yeah. So, I'm trying to think if I want to talk about this or not. That means I probably should.
Yeah.
Well, Marnie, that we do transportation for people. We, take them to treatment centers, stuff like that. And I don't know. I get so frustrated by, I'm doing air quotes here, the system. Mm-hmm. Because it has nothing to do with me, but it does. But the system has nothing to do with me. But it's just when I peel the curtain back a little bit and look back there, I just see a bunch of dancing bears, and I'm like, whoa, you guys are running this thing. And it discourages me, which I know it should light a fire under my ass to, okay, well, we can't stop here. We got to keep doing stuff. Well, for the rides, it to me makes complete sense. It's common sense.
Simple.
And what I'm talking about is I am in recovery, as I mentioned, coming up on 2 years. December 15th, I'll have 2 years. And I've been to treatment 15 times. Some of them times I had to ride the bus and ride the bus home. For me, alcohol was my drug of choice, and any stop I could got alcohol at, not a problem. The guy, we call him Big Country, he rode the bus. I didn't even know he was on the bus. Kind of creepy. He was like, yeah, I was watching you the whole time. You fell asleep and dropped your phone. I'm like, bro, it's creepy, man. He's like, yeah, I was in the back of the bus drinking. Mm-hmm. I was like, we weren't supposed to drink, you know? And he's like, yeah, I didn't care. And that's where he was at. I was on probation. I could not afford to drink on the bus on the way to treatment and not get in. I didn't have that option. But he didn't care. Even though they told him not to drink, he did anyway. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, so alcohol is everywhere. And then at a layover on the way there in Lansing where it was obvious I could have got whatever I wanted. And sitting next to me was this older gentleman, and this woman comes up and she's talking to him, and then she told him that she was not going to do stuff for him for $40. Mm-hmm. And that's $60. And if I would have needed $40, I'd have been like, hey, bro, come over here, man. Just kidding. That's funny. Like, yeah. But I mean, it's just like, wait, this is happening right here. Like, nobody's hiding anything. And, you know, you got your bus station security people. I don't know if they make minimum wage, maybe. Like, do they really? They don't really care, man. You know, they're not going to try to endanger themselves to break up some kind of gang stuff going on, or they're not going to, you know, get the, I would assume, pimp mad or whatever. They're just going to lay low and get their paycheck. And then Grand Rapids was very similar, and it just occurred to me, like, wow, like, these bus stations aren't very safe. And if I was a drug dealer, I'd probably make somebody take the bus. Like, hey, man, take this, you know, see what you can sell. That's just what I would do if I was a drug dealer. I'm not a drug dealer, so I don't do that. But I've heard it time after time after time after time after time from people I've been in treatment with. They're like, yeah, man, I can't believe I got to take the bus home. It's going to be tough. And that's just unfair. You know, substance use disorder, it affects the brain in so many different ways. You know, if people think it's a choice, it's not. The way the brain reacts when they start thinking about drugs. So like putting somebody on a bus where maybe they know what's going to be at that stop. Mm-hmm. And the whole time they're going after it, like somebody, and I've used this a couple weeks ago, like getting ready for hunting, you know, or getting ready for Christmas, or getting ready for school. Your dopamine, you start getting that, it starts going. That's when the dopamine's firing. And boom, the reward is what the dopamine is leading you to. So I just think it's so unfair. And I called, I guess, I don't even know, there's like 10 or 7, I don't know how many provider people that you have to call. Like if you go to treatment, you have to get approved. If you're on Medicaid, you have to get approved. And the places that approve you, some of them are cool. Some of them will give you a really hard time, which is very unfortunate. I really wish they'd stop that. And I told the lady that I talked to the other day that, you know, maybe she should kind of look into some of that too, to make sure it's not going on where that place is. But, you know, I just kind of pointed out, like, this is what we do. And a couple weeks ago, it was like, hey, cool. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. And I was like, well, what's going on? And, oh, well. And she didn't say this, but she pretty much said it. Like, let's just, and I'm just throwing out numbers here. But so they have this account or this grant or this fund or whatever that has $100 billion. That's a really big number. I just threw it out there. Just joking. I have no idea what the number is, but I'm just using hypotheticals. So we have an account with $100 billion in it, and that's for people to attend treatment. But we have $5 in the account that gets them home safe. So we make sure we give them a penny and make them ride the horse at Meyer to take them home. You know, like that's kind of what it was. And it was like, wait a minute. So can you just combine the two? Like, shouldn't they go together? Mm-hmm. Like, getting to treatment, getting home from treatment, and treatment, to me, should be all in the same circle. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem. And I was trying to explain, I was like, this isn't how it should work. And I didn't say it like that. I think I was just like, you're stupid, and hung up. Just kidding. Mm-hmm. But, no, and I was informed that the people that made that decision to send the person on the bus instead of using 217 recovery and have a recovery coach drive the person safely home, it was made by somebody who, graduated from the University of Michigan, so that made it all good. So she made the best choice, and I was like, I don't think that's the best choice. I mean, I was like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Like, would you send your son, which I should have said, on a bus after treatment, or would you want a recovery coach to pick him up? Well, it's about funding, and we only have $5 in that account, and I was like, okay, so for $30 you're gonna risk this dude, and it's gonna end up costing you more money in the long run because, okay, say said person leaves treatment, and oh my gosh, the minute he gets on that bus, he can smell the drugs, like he knows, oh my gosh, I wonder who's holding on this bus right now. Gets to, say, we'll just keep using Lansing. Gets to Lansing on the stop, and he has a 3-hour layover. He sees dude, and he's like, I know that dude. Okay, let me go get some. That's how it works. And so then you got people pointing fingers. Because everybody, whose fault is it? No, he's just weak. He didn't want it bad enough. Well, no, he wanted it. It's just you put a steak in front of a dog, and you're just like, hey. And then, is it the treatment center's fault? They didn't do their job. He was there for 30 days, and he got out, and 4 hours later, he was using again. Psh, that place sucks. I'm telling all don't ever go there. No, it's not treatment center's fault. It's not that guy's fault either. Or woman. It's the system's fault. And they're the ones that don't want to take the blame for it. Or, I don't know, maybe no one's raising their hand or going, hey, this is common sense. Let's figure this out. And it's really frustrating for me to know that, because then that said guy who gets blamed, the treatment center gets blamed. The people who never get blamed are the people who are at fault. And then the guy, say, a month later is like, oh, man, I can't hide anymore. I got to, I got to go back. So he calls the same place that told him he had to take that bus and says, I need help. I need to go back to treatment. I don't want to die out here. How many times? You just went 2 months ago. How many times is it going to take? Did you learn anything? That's the way they treat you. And it's such a frustrating thing. I was on a Zoom meeting today. It wasn't really a meeting. It was like a conference. And Chris Cornell's wife was on there. And there was some really cool doctors that were on there. Miss America was on there. That's all I'm going to say about that. But there were some really good points about the stigma, and from, telling people, like war on drugs, and when you go to the hospital, we don't get treated the same. Mm-hmm. If I tell them I have pain, they look at my chart. Oh, yeah, he's an alcoholic, they'll call me, and I call it in recovery. So they're not going to give me anything that could make me addicted. Mm-hmm. And it's very frustrating because we know that. And I went in there one time, I told the story about I had broken ribs, and I thought I was really freaking out, thought it was my liver, and was like, I just need you guys to check this out. It's kind of in the same spot. I just kind of make sure this isn't my liver and everything's fine. And doctor came back and just kind of rolled his eyes and was like, you're having muscle spasms, or you had a muscle cramp. And I was like, bro, I don't do sit-ups. I don't lift stuff. Like, what do you mean? How would I have a muscle cramp? I'm telling you, something's not right here. Yeah, I'll just give you some ibuprofen and you'll be fine. But he treated me like I was there to get some pills. And then, like, 2 days later, I go to a different hospital, and they're like, yeah, well, clearly you have 2 broken ribs, but that's painful. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. And it's just that they see you, and they're rolling their eyes. And so we don't get treated fair. So there's a stigma from the doctors, and we face all this stuff. And she did this experiment, this one doctor did, where they had these rats, and my